Okay, so in your video notes from 6.5, we did not include a couple of questions that are going to be on your homework and on your test. And so we made 2 additional questions that we really need to go over with you to make sure that when you get to your Math Excel and your test that you are prepared for it because you've seen them in your notes as well. So this little section on page 2 of your 6.5 notes, we inserted a part that was part 2.5. And so this was not in the previous video, but it is here on your notes. So we need to do it together. So this is just a quick video for these 2 questions. So number 5, what is the graph of x minus 2y is greater than -4? So I'm going to rearrange it into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to try to get y by itself. So the first thing I need to do is subtract x from both sides. So we have a -2y is greater than, I'm going to put my slope first, so my -x, and then bring down my -4. Okay, this is one of the problems that happens on your homework and again on your test. So let's review it. What happens when you divide both sides by a negative? I hope you remember from a couple of modules ago that when you have an inequality and you divide both sides or multiply by a negative, you need to flip the symbol. So this is a really important thing to remember. If you're dividing or multiplying both sides by a negative, the symbol that was greater than is now going to be less than because it flips. All right, and remember this needs to be divided both parts by -2, so that's a hidden invisible 1. Negative divided by negative is going to be positive 1/2. That's a fraction 1/2. And it's negative over negative, so now it's positive half. X, and then again, negative divided by negative is going to be positive 2, so plus 2. Okay, so when you have rearranged it, we really wanted you to remember when to flip the symbol. So I'd put my first dot at 2. Up 1 over 2 is the slope. And I'm going to go all the way back down 1 over 2. And before I draw in the line, I need to decide if it's going to be solid or dashed. Since it's less than and it is not or equal to, it is a dashed line. And then still arrows on both ends. We are still shading, so we need to decide which side gets shaded. This is y is now less than. So if I go to my y-intercept, it's going to be less than that, which less than is going down in numbers. So this is the half plane that gets shaded. All right, number 6. Again, I need to rearrange it to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 4x on both sides. I'm going to bring down my -y is less than or equal to, I'm going to put the slope first, so -4x, and then bring down my -4. And then in the last step, once again, I'm dividing by that negative hidden invisible 1 on both sides. And remember what happens when you divide both sides by a negative or multiply. The symbol that was less than or equal to is now going to be greater than or equal to. So -4 divided by -1 is positive 4x. And -4 divided by -1 is again positive 4. So now we're going to go graph it and put our first dot on the y-intercept at 4. We're going to go up 4 over 1, which means it's going to be off the graph. So I'm going to go back down 4 over 1 to get some dots on my paper. All right, and then remember that an or equal to is a solid line. So I'm going to draw as straight as I can. A solid line through those 3 dots. And then when you're shading it, now that we flipped the symbol, it was less than or equal, but we switched it to greater than or equal because we divided both sides by a negative. Greater than would be above the y-axis because these numbers are greater. So you would end up shading this half plane. There you go.